Hello everyone, thank you for coming back to my channel. In this particular video, I wish to share my opinion with regard to an issue that has raised some eyebrows quite recently concerning the guideline or rules on cultural performances at University Technology Malaysia or UTM. Now, there is a concern by many people in saying that this rule may be regressive as well as something that will not contribute to the idea of nation building. Now, I do not wish to criticize UTM for putting up this rule because as a badan berkanun or as a body that has been invested with the empowerment to have whatever culture that they deem good to be at their campus, then that is their prerogative. But I do wish to put a question to Malaysians who are the taxpayers that pays for the salaries of academics at UTM with regard to the question of whether these guidelines do they contravene or actually contribute to the appreciation of our cultural heritage and also to the idea of our national cultural identity. Now, with respect to the idea of University Technology Malaysia, there are two things that I'm very concerned with. One is the nature of university, and the other is the nature of Malaysia itself. So, in the first part of the video, I will read the Peraturan Kebudayaan dan Kesenian di UTM, and then we try to understand some of its wordings. And after that, I will make a comment on what I feel to be the role of university with regard to the concept of knowledge as well as the idea of citizenship in a global society. Then we look at the cultural heritage of our own country and see whether it fits or do not fit the Peraturan Kebudayaan dan Kesenian at UTM. And finally, we look a little bit at the recently completed Asean Summit. What were the cultural performances, and again, whether they fit within the Peraturan Kebudayaan dan Kesenian at UTM. Now, first of all, I'd like to read the Peraturan, and not all of it, certain things which I would like to comment on. Now, for the first part, it says A, persembahan kebudayaan bercorak percampuran jantina tidak dibolehkan. So in English, it means that any cultural performance that has a mixed gender, meaning male and female, it's not allowed. Okay. Now, with regards to C, pakaian semasa persembahan kebudayaan hendaklah menutup aurat dan bersesuaian mengikut konteks persembahan. Now, the idea of bersesuaian, well, in English it means the dress or the attire worn during these performances must cover the aurat. Now, what is aurat? The word aurat means, and it must be appropriate for the context of the performance. Now, the second part is fine, but the term that we need to understand is what does aurat signify. And part E, it says setiap persembahan kebudayaan hendaklah tidak melanggar tata tertib, sentiasa bermoral tinggi dan tidak ada unsur-unsur khurafat yang bertentangan dengan agama Islam. Okay, so it says here that all the performances should not violate any disciplinary issues, as well as be of high moral standard, and most importantly, it does not contain any material of khurafat. And what is khurafat? It's something about superstition or myths or legends or things that are untrue, and especially against the Islamic teaching. Now, finally, each persembahan kebudayaan kumpulan wanita hendaklah untuk tontonan wanita. So it says here that any cultural performances that has all of the players to be women can only be viewed by a women audience. Now, as I said, I do not wish to comment and say that this is bad or this is good, because as I said, this is what UTM has the power to do. And if they feel that it is good for their campus and the idea of university and the idea of Malaysia as they understand it, we need to respect that. But I do wish to share my view and also ask Malaysians to also decide for themselves whether such a guideline is it beneficial to our graduates that will be Malaysians and also part of the world civilization as well as world population. And this is the real issue that I wanted to raise, whether what kind of graduates are we raising? Is it a graduate that can be part of the world, or a graduate that can only part of a small world? So with that, let's look at the word aurat. Now we can read from the Dewan Bahasa definition of aurat here. Now, according to the Kamus Dewan Bahasa dan Pustaka, aurat bermaksud bahagian tubuh yang tidak boleh kelihatan atau wajib ditutup. Dalam bahasa Arab, aurat bermaksud keaiban. Secara istilah bahasa Melayu yang ringkas, ia merujuk kepada bahagian tubuh yang wajib ditutup. So, whatever it is, we can see here the word aurat actually is a borrowed term from the Arabic term. And the Arabic term is related to the Islamic value system as we understand here, bahagian tubuh yang wajib ditutup. So in Islam, for male, it would be at the belly button to the knee, and for female, it's be the whole body, except the hand and maybe the face. Some say also includes the hair, but some say the hair is not included. So you can only see the feet and the hand and the face or the hair. Everything else, even the arm, is not supposed to be exposed. The hand means only the hand here. So we can see here that the word aurat actually should mean modesty, but then it is related to the Arabic term, which is can be said to be Islamic or not, but it is always inferred that the term would indicate the values related to Islam. So that is one of the terms that we need to understand. Now the next word is the word khurafat. It says that the cultural performances should not have any content of khurafat. And so here menurut Dewan Bahasa, khurafat bermaksud kepercayaan karut, dongeng dan tahyul. Ia ialah berasal dari perkataan Arab. And so again, we can see here that it says about beliefs in dongeng means like myth or legend or superstition, that again it relates back to the Arabic words and also related to the Islamic tradition, and which can be clearly seen in this. So we can see that much of the guidelines or guidance, of course, comes from the Malay value system, which is embedded also within the Islamic value system, interpreted in a conservative manner. When I say Islamic, it doesn't mean that that is the absolute interpretation. It's an interpretation. It's one interpretation, and there are many interpretations in the world with regards to issues of aurat as well as issues of khurafat and issues of cultural performances. Now, firstly, I would like to make a comment on what I think a university should be. Now, for me, a university is a place where we impart our shared wisdom as a professor, as an academic, to the graduates who will go out of the university to become human beings, first of all, to become part of the world population, to be part of the nation, part of their community, and so forth. And so I would like to think that in the university, we teach them certain tools for them to actually meet the unknown. Because how can you just teach something that can only be fixed, meaning that you look at the problem of the world in a certain manner and it's fixed. You look at the world in a manner of system value system that is fixed. Now, the world contains a lot of diversity, a lot of differences, and how then do you deal with these differences? And I thought that in university, the true aim is to actually inculcate wisdom and the idea of how to manage and move into the world that is very diversified. I don't think a university is supposed to teach people to only hold on to one particular view, one particular set of values, one particular absolute truth, and therefore they will not grow. For me, academia and also knowledge is about growth. You can never say something absolutely this is true, whether it's history, politics, economics. There's no such thing as absolute truth in academia. Because if there is such thing as absolute truth in academia, in society, in social issues, in economic issues, in political issues, then you become God. Okay, you cannot be questioned, and you do not need others to offer opinion about your view. When I did my PhD, it was just my opinion to say that, let's say, the mosque is a community center rather than a house of worship. That is my opinion, and I have structured the information to present it that way. And so I spent a whole lifetime arguing for it, defending it, explaining it, and that is the nature of the topic or the discipline. And so that is what university is. So with regards to cultural performances, arts, this is something that is very open. But for us to actually lock it into something set within a certain value system that is personal to one particular race and one particular faith, that may be a questionable idea, although it is not wrong and it's not right in any way. So that is my concern. If we are to produce a graduate that only understands one particular value system, I think it may be problematic when they go out into the world and they meet the world in its diversified form, and also in its diversity and its multiplicity and the differences in communities and people. Then how would they react then? That's number one. Number two is with regard to our cultural heritage. Malaysia is a nation that has many people, many communities, many ethnic groups, many faiths. And so we have a cultural heritage, and cultural heritage includes such things as cultural performances. Now, for instance, the Kadazan people has the tarian Sumazau, and this is done with a mixed gender. And we can see that the way they wear their clothing is quite close to the Malay Islamic value system of aurat. And then we can look at the tarian Ngajat, which is by the Iban Dayak people. And we can see that certainly according to the so-called Malay Islamic aurat, that this is not part of the belief system of Islam, and is this considered something that is taboo and not allowed to be performed? We can also see that there is mixed gender and the different way that they have their dressing. And then we can look also at the other traditional dances like the tarian Mak which is performed within a story context, as far as I understand it. And the story is not really from the so-called Islamic tradition. It may be a mix of Hindu and other belief system that is 1,000 years old, and it tells of a certain story. And this then becomes a myth or legend or khurafat, in which case when they are related to the idea of gods or devas and supernatural beings being put forth. So this is the richness of our culture, and for me, for us to respect each culture, we need to accept the cultural interpretations or cultural legends or myths or stories within its own culture. So this is something that if we try to impose other wills, then it destroys the culture altogether. Finally, we have my friend Ramli Ibrahim, who is the expert on Hindu dance, and I have seen some of these performances, which are again mixed gender, because they tell a story, the story of gods in terms of powerful supernatural creatures, and also human beings being played here and there, and things like that. And so cultural performances like dances is not only for entertainment purposes, but it's also embedded within it the identity of that particular culture. So now, what do we do with this cultural heritage? Cultural heritage should be something, if we are serious in living together, we should respect each other. And so, if the cultural heritage comes with their own stories, then for me, there's nothing wrong with accepting it. If we don't accept it and don't allow it to be performed, then we are restricting the idea that we should respect each other. That's my understanding. And also, when we impose our value system, then how do we let the graduates go out into the world where they will meet other value systems that a lot of them out there? If this were a tahfiz or a madrasa, if UTM was a tahfiz or madrasa, then and I don't really am concerned about it, because it's for a conservative mindset. Tahfiz and madrasa are the most conservative entities. But for a university, it is something about exploring the unknown and the world and the largeness of life and knowledge, as well as culture and faith and ideas and thoughts, and all these are supposed to be part of university. But if we are restricting it, then I think there may be a problem there. Finally, what does the guideline say about our national cultural identity? Now, I just would like to show a very simple idea about the Asean Summit. During the Asean Summit, we have cultural performances, mixed gender, and different ethnic performances, and we can see the dances of various kinds of heritage. And then we can also see our famed Siti Nurhaliza singing in front of a mixed audience, and becoming the person most honored during that time, and has impressed all our guests, Asian guests. And this I would infer to be our national cultural identity. And even if we remember Trump dancing to the beat of the mixed gender performances of, I assume, Malay dances, and also songs that greeted him during at the airport, that is also our cultural identity. Now, with all those, we need to map it against the peraturan kesenian dan budaya UTM, whether UTM is contravening or not contributing, or is it something that they define as within their own understanding of what morality is and what truthfulness is, and even though it may not be the same as our appreciation of our cultural identity in our act of nation building, as well as our pride in our national cultural identity, then that is something of a question that all of us need to look at. So with that, I would like to summarize by saying that to me, a university is to prepare students and graduates for the world, to meet the unknown, to meet a lot of diversified ideas. And part of being a nation is also, secondly, we talk about respecting other cultural identity, other cultural heritage. And we also need to be aware that there is a national cultural identity that is practiced by our Prime Minister, that perhaps we should give some credibility. And even though UTM as a university that is empowered to do research, to teach the students in whatever way that they think is best, perhaps they need to look at what is the aspect of nation building, what is the aspect of cultural or national identity, and how then do they produce students, graduates that can meet the world and not be under a coconut shell. With that, thank you very much. Hi everybody. If you would like to own my book and have my signature as well as a personal note from me, please follow the instruction. Thank you.